Oh, how many out of my afflictions? Oh, how many out of my afflictions? I'm an adjuster, and I know how to adjust. And because I am an adjuster, who knows how to adjust? I survive unadjustable beings that don't want to change. Oh, how many are my afflictions over here? Don't nobody know, and it appears don't nobody care either. Yeah. People wanna make me a ghost. People wanna make me a dead thing. But I'm gonna show you how I survive, 'cause I'm an adjuster. Jesus will give me a way around everything. Jesu Christe is my king. But people don't realize that I am an adjuster. And like an adjuster, I will adjust. Even though people set me up for failure, I will adjust. Because I know how to adjust. I will adjust. Amen. How you doing in the name of Jesus Christ? My name is Cranberry Kate, otherwise known as Garabo. I hope you are peachy Stella in a neat little bunch and kept together. Today is the 8th of November, 2023. 'Tis that time, you know what I'm saying? And we are gonna be talking about adjustment in the presence and climate of insanity. Insanity! I've not even worn any lipstick, not today, because I'm about to pull an experiment in front of you guys, except it's not an experiment. It is a tried and tested hypothesis, however, one that nonetheless is gauged as an experiment in the black community. But I have proven that one can raise back from the dead. Listen. But before we listen, let's just put some caveats out there. I may or may not be wearing application makeup. For the sake of this particular analogy, I might leave the makeup out, but I like the makeup, so we're gonna keep the makeup. However, in wearing application makeup, my skin stays more or less relatively the same, so you will be able to see my actual skin and what it's gonna do in front of you. So if I put app makeup on, if at all my eyelashes are bouncing like my eye, it is only because it's an app. Take that in your stride. My captions are not always accurate. Every so often they are misspelled, and sometimes I happen upon profanity in my captions. Guys, I do apologize for that. Please take it in your stride and in mine. To recognize that there's like a misfortune in my life where I am working for $0. Hello, Norton Ash. Barely any views, barely any support, barely any substance. So I don't have time to be editing my captions. Given that I do not have time to be editing my captions, I can't for the life of me just go digging deep in them to take out certain irreverent stances by CapCut where they use a small G for God, or they misspell, or they sometimes like throw a profanity where it is that if I'm sorry, I don't have time to edit. In the future, I will take time to focus on that. You might ask, why not just extract them? 'Cause I like them. They're cute. Okay. Next caveat, there very potentially might be a speech lag, but really and truly whatever, this is life, okay? Ooh, if this was a real mic, I would have gone like, yeah, anyway, but it's not a real one, so nobody's trained us how to use mics. We've never been celebrities, okay? Yeah, guys, so you just kind of like take the speech lag in your stride if it comes, okay? And then I've got this like silence detector that every so often takes out my words, and I don't know what's going on with that. I'm like, come on, like I was trying to do a sentence and then it disregards me. I do apologize. Now that my captions are out of the way, I don't know what happened to my lighting over there. Something was adjusted, but we're gonna do an experiment, except it's not really an experiment. It's more like a tried and tested hypothesis. I have been saying that again. I'm a black girl in a big world. It's not a big thing if I'm black, except if you're dealing with a white cast random sunscreen. Oh, then you don't know I'm black. Ooh. Because some sunscreens just don't make sense. Oh my goodness, like, wow. And if you're broke, you're poor, you're carabo, you're experimenting, you're buying a new sunscreen, and you don't have money to go and get another one because this one leaves a violent white cast, what do you do? What do you do? This thing makes me look like a gas, otherwise known as a ghost. That is the Afrikaans word for a ghost. Ek lyk soos 'n gas met die ding. But am I currently looking like a gas? All up in your grill right now? Of course not. Why? 'Cause I'm that blender. Let's make like Lira. Ooh, I am a blender. Hey, hallelujah. Ooh, I am a blender. Ay, hallelujah. Ooh, I am a blender. The real song is I'm a believer, but it can be anything. I'm also a peeler. My face has been peeling in this area and it's a little bit lighter than everywhere else, but it's catching up because I am a blender. So I started out being a peeler, and now I am a blender because I'm on some DIY skincare without a dermatologist and without proper counsel. Sometimes a sister just experiments like a guinea pig on her own skin. But everything eventually works out for the lady. Everything eventually works out for the lady. Everything is Romans 8:28 for the lady. Everything literally works out together for my good. A texture, mixture, it's all in the extra. I just want texture to rhyme. So I just make up words as I go along just to get around to saying something. The texture of my skin has improved in just a day. As you can see, I'm getting better. Ooh. Guys, miracle, white cast, black ladies, I'm here to help you. I don't know what it is in sunscreen that gives you a white cast, but that particular white casting thingy-mabobby has some like properties in it that I'll just be conditioning the skin. How can I give a description? As a black girl, you know how our hair sometimes can, I don't gotta say much more. I don't gotta say much more. Kinda hard. So we really need to go in hard, knock and intense with the conditioner. But sometimes one does not quite come across the right conditioner until they come across the right conditioner. You know what I mean? Yeah. That particular cream or butter or whatever it might be, spray that leaves your hair feeling so good all day. It leaves your hair feeling so soft all day. You're like, but what is in this? Ooh, I don't care what's in it. Bottom line is nothing has ever made my hair this soft. I've been struggling all my life. I prayed for softer hair, and I thank God that I finally found this product. And you swear by it, you stick to it, you tell everybody, cause like you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it. If you're one of those hard knock curly tendrilled black girls and your afro don't never get soft, don't nobody be able to deal with it. Your afro comb seen some hard times when you try to drive it into your hair. It is the bristles of the afro comb that break, not even your hair. Until you happen upon that conditioner, and now all of a sudden everything is just smooth sailing. Well, I've got a little something to tell you black girls about the conditioner of your skin. The thing that's gonna make you look a good, like, I don't know, 5 years younger, over and above the fact that you're using retinol on your face is the very sunscreen that's apparently not good for you. Why? Cause girl, why you gonna roll around with a white car sunscreen all up in your grill as a black girl? You don't wanna look like a house, yeah. You don't wanna look like a ghost. Who wants to look like a ghost, yeah. And this morning after applying this sunscreen, I was like, never again will I ever put this on my skin. But, oh snap, I'm not going anywhere. Don't nobody know me up in here. Next time I'll buy a better sunscreen. I'm just gonna ride this one out until further notice, until I can buy another one. I'm just gonna take this one in my stride, cause I really don't have a choice. I'm broke. So girl gonna be looking like a khas. Ish. For a minute. Girl gonna be looking like a ghost, yeah, for as long as it takes for this sunscreen hofela. Cause the other sunscreen I had that was tinted is finished. So what am I supposed to do when the skin is pulling a stunt or two? I can't not use sunscreen cause all the work I am putting in with retinol, vitamin C, niacinamide, etc. is just gonna be thrown on the dustbin. Sorry, my mic keeps going there. I'm not trained with the mic. That's being my life thing. It's all gonna go in the dustbin. That's gonna be all the hard work you put in. So I told myself that whatever, I will look like a ghost, and I will tell my people on YouTube that that's a new caveat. Guys, if my skin is looking a little whiter than normal, it's only because I bought a sunscreen with a white cast and I don't have money to replace it with another one. I made a mistake, whoops. So we're gonna take it in our stride that every so often I'm gonna look like a ghosty ghost. So add like a 6th caveat or something to my introductions. Hi guys, it's Cran K. How you doing today? I'm good. Just putting a caveat out there. I've got issues with captions. I have got makeup on. I've got a speech lag. I have got an issue with my silence detector. And oh, I look a little bit whiter than normal. Don't worry. I'm not shook. I'm not having a fever. It's my sunscreen, and I can't do without it because we need to take care of the hair, of the face. Oh, sorry. I thought that was gonna have to be a problem in my life. You know what I mean? Until I came up with an idea to I am a blender. Hey, gotta love the jams. Hey. I am a blender. I am a blender. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dabble with this thing. I'm gonna toggle it. I'm gonna ransack it. I'm getting in a cockpit and I'm fighting it. Psst, 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 psst. That's me putting sunscreen. White cast like no man's business. And I sat around in front of the mirror for a good 5 minutes just blending in this white cast. And it swallowed in and it disappeared. And I stopped looking like a khas. But it was about the fact that all things work out together for the good of them who love the Lord here. That really got to a sister. The very white cast doing my Bobby thingying. That white cast. You know that white cast that you get left with when you've got the wrong sunscreen. It's got benefits. Like, it's a discovery I made. 1 minute. It is a discovery I made. Just this morning or afternoon, whatever. After washing my face and applying my morning routine, I made a discovery as time was progressing, as in after an hour. After 2 hours following washing my face, I found a face conditioner. Never mind a face conditioner, but a youthful glow, like a plump that happened. That never happened with my other sunscreen. It never gave me that thing that was going on. I never really understood what was going on over there. All I knew was that I liked it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm now a blender. Ooh, I am a blender. I came to a realization and a recognition that it is worth my while to become a blender. And this whole circumstance, albeit making me look like somewhat of a ghost, albeit it making me look like somewhat of a person I am not, it nonetheless worked out together for my good. And the issue that I had with it initially, I was able to overcome it. And it reminded me of me. My sunscreen reminded me of me. Black girls, don't flee from the sunscreen with the white cast. I'm just saying, there's a way to blend it. And I'm going to do an illustration right in front of you if I can just get this thing open. 1 minute. So herein lies the Cran K in the morning, excited to use her new sunscreen. I've had a spray sunscreen before. I have, but it did not leave a white cast. This is the first time in my life I have ever used sunscreen that had a white cast. I deliberately ordered online some time ago, a sunscreen that was tinted so as to not give me a white cast. Yeah, because I'm that black girl. And the last sunscreen that I had that was a spray one, it just, it came off on my face, clear, and dried clear. And I was like, okay, whatever. I then went and grabbed this one thinking that it's similar to the other one because it's also a spray sunscreen. I liked being able to put it at a distance. But the moment I did my first psst, I was like, oh, snappity doop. Applied it, looked like a ghost. And I was like, oh, snappity doop. And then this happened. Okay. So this is sunscreen. So for those reasons, applying it twice a day, 3 times a day actually comes recommended. So this is the second time I'm putting this stuff on. It reminds me of me. It really does. Let's go into it, shall we? Let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Close the eyes. Look at me. 4, 5, 6. That's me. 6, 7, 8. That's me. 8, 9, 10. That's me. Okay, 4 times I spritzed this on. Don't I look lovely? All freckled and stuff with sunscreen. When I saw this, I was like, how's my nails latching on here? 1 minute. Sorry, I had to file my nails down. Okay, my one nail down because it was like hooking onto my jersey. Cool. So I'm looking like this, okay? And I'm like, yo, this one, guys, sola. I am suspicious. I feel like I missed a spot. Most pongo. Let's put like number 4. Oh, this is what broke my nail. It opens so harshly. Ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have come that close. Anyway, so this is the sunscreen. And it does this. As soon as I saw this, I was like, we're gonna have some issues. We're gonna have some troubles. We're gonna have some issues. But I was like, it is what it is. This is what I have. I'm not choice, Lampilweni. I don't have choices. I don't have options. I've got nothing but no choices. So I can either decide to not do sunscreen for aesthetic reasons so I can look good and not look like a ghost. I can choose to do that. Or I can just, put it as a caveat in my ministry that, guys, I'm looking a little bit ashy because, like I'm using a white cast sunscreen. As I was busy applying it in the morning, after putting it on my face, I was like, whatever, it's sunscreen, this is the situation. This is that girl who's looking a little bit like a ghost. I'm putting it on my lips, that's why I didn't put lipstick on. Alright? Yeah. Okay, the neck there. Yeah. I'm doing this, I'm that girl. Like, whatever. I'm on some hebatung. This is me now. I'm looking like a khase. This is me now, guys. I just look like a ghost. I don't know, guys. I mean, the multiple application. What's going on? And then sister girl just kept on doing this. Dabbing. And then applying it onto my hands. And dabbing, feeling kind of freaked out. On some I'm looking like a husband, a ghost or something. Don't I look like a dead lady right now? Yeah, kind of like what people are trying to do to a sister. Am I not looking somewhat DED dead because they can't spell DEAD? Do I not look like I'm passed away? I do, don't I? But then I just kept going and going on some no way. What's going on? Oh, guys, I can't look like this. It's just not okay. Somebody call the police. Again, somebody call the popo. Somebody call the popo. Because my face is dead. I'm dead. We need to call the coroner. Let's call the ambulance. Let's call the coroners, the police. Let's call the pathologist. Let's call anybody because sister done died. Abantu bafuna bathanda ukubhodisa abanye abantwana. You like to make other people's children pass away. All of y'all Randalls in the occult, huh? You like to make people look like khasa. You like to make people look like ghosts. That's what's good. Lerata hampe ho tlhokafatsa bana ba batho ba bang. Hooking up love spells, and when they fail, hooking up Begamina Pela when it fails, hooking up death curses because they failed, making sure that people can't get jobs, making sure that people can't move ahead, making sure that people can never catch a break, making sure that people never come up for air, making sure that just because you couldn't get a lady in your life, you are going to bewitch her into oblivion. You are going to bewitch this poor, uncomfortable, unfortunate lady into oblivion that she might never live to tell the story. Because you're that monster, you're that monster, you're that monster that knows a magic wand or two, causing people to pass away. But then the Lord has this miraculous thing that he does, where he's like, Lazarus, hello there. Kind of uncomfortable with how you're all dead right now, so since I am God, since I'm in the heavens, and I do whatever I please, I am gonna bring you forth, Lazzy, Lazalos, Lazorasi, oh Lazzy, Lazlasno, Lazniza, Laznaishas, come forth, Mtanam Lazarus, Buyaweo, come back, my Lazzy, Lazzy Lou, Lazzy Laslas, Lazliza, Lazlos, Lazzy Lasles, Leslies, come forth. I will even call you by some puppy names out here because I'm affectionate towards you, Lazarus. I do not desire that you should be dead. Lazarizis, Las Rosas, Las Lesnas, Lazarus, Las Lizzy, Lazzy Los, Lazzy Las Lizes, my Lazzy Los, come forth. Because these ninja dogs don't get to make you dead, my son. They don't get to make you dead when I under heaven am what you wanted. I'm rather gonna brighten your face, but without you looking like you have got some random stranger danger issue on your face. You are not gonna look dead. You are gonna look brightened. You are going to have a glow because I'm going to use the powdery disposition that they put on your face, the problem that they endured you through by white casting your face. In other words, by making you dead. By making you dead. I'm going to use it for your good. Romans 8:28. But you're going to have to spend just a little bit more time being a blender. Ooh, you are a blender. So instead of blending makeup, you are just blending sunscreen. You are just blending sunscreen that gives you a white cast. And then when an hour has progressed or 2 hours have progressed since the application of that sunscreen, you look in the mirror and you notice, do you understand, that your face is plump. It is glowing. Your cheekbones appear higher. Your face has got this beautiful glow. Your pores are refined. They have literally shrunk. Okay, like in broad daylight, because you spent something like 5 minutes blending in your sunscreen, causing blood flow to flow to your face because of the fact that you never really spent 5 minutes doing this, just making sure your sunscreen blends in. I noticed you guys. I noticed you peoples. Do you understand that this sunscreen, even though it initially gave me a white cast, the white cast was melted by the blending activity that I was doing. Do you understand? And after an hour, 2 hours had progressed. My skin started to glow. It started to pop and my pores were shrunken and there was plumpness. So I have applied this sunscreen in front of you guys now. You saw how white casty it was. It would have stayed white casty if I did not blend it. It would have stayed entire 1 minute. If I did not blend it in, it would have stayed white casty. I blended it. The blending did whatever that it did. I dabbed it on instead of wiping. 1 minute. In the name of Christ, how you doing? What's up? I'm back. I had to deal with edits in the background. Anyway, yeah, this whole process, I don't know where I left off. I've been quiet for like 5-6 minutes right now, just doing my edits. So I don't know where in the world it is that I picked up. But this is what it left me looking like. And initially I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Like, there is a wide cast. Oh my goodness, like, what's going on? I'm looking funny. And like I said, after 1 to 2 hours, I noticed something. I had a pink in my cheeks. Maybe it was because I kept on like slapping my face as I was blending. Angazi. There was a little bit of a bubbly glow. I don't know. I'm gonna now apply like, you know, lip stuff and what have you, because I'm done with this thing. I then sweated, of course, like my face came out and it made me look a little bit more plumper. And it was for me like putting on just one layer of, is it foundation or concealer? Like, you know, when you want a makeup, no makeup look type establishment thing. It gave me that feel. It gave me a makeup, no makeup. And I'm not a fan of makeup. Like, everybody knows that. Real makeup. Like, actual makeup, not app makeup. Because I believe makeup is somewhat destructive in the long run. Like, I thoroughly believe that. I do believe that makeup closes... not closes pores per se, but I think it's aging. It's just my own personal belief set. You don't have to run with it or whatnot, so I don't like to apply actual makeup other than a little bit of mascara, a little bit of eyeliner, and that's it. But actually something that's gonna conceal or close my pores, my whole face, that for me is just, it's unnatural. Like, I don't know, I'm not a fan of makeup, like, at all. But I do like the look of makeup. I like the look of makeup, but I'm not a fan of makeup for health purposes, if you know what I mean. I'm looking for something here, guys. 1 minute. Found it. Yeah, for health reasons, for the reasons of the health of my skin, and in terms of longevity, just maintaining agelessness over the years. I feel like makeup exacerbates that issue. It adds to it, but that's just my view. You don't gotta run with it. So I'm not a big fan. 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10. Ooh, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you guys think that I look like a khas? This thing reminded me of this whole situation on the face. It reminded me of me, where it is that here it is that something that made me look like a ghost, but it ended up working out for my good. It ended up working out for my benefit. It gave me extra skincare benefits that I did not see coming, and I would not have chosen it given that it doesn't come as highly recommended, especially for black girls. Sunscreen that leaves a white cast, but it ended up giving me more benefits such that now I am actively going to go out looking for it, because my skin has never looked like this. It plumped me up, but it basically had, like, you know, this vitamin C, and it causes you to go bright and plumps you up. Yeah, this is like a vitamin C plus. It acts this very similarly to vitamin C, conditioning powers of the face. It softens the face and refines pores because of the white cast. I don't know, maybe it's an optical illusion because of the white cast, but if you blend and blend and blend and blend, you end up looking like you've got makeup, but like a makeup no makeup look, like a makeup no makeup look, if you know what I mean. Like, you look like you've got some kind of powder on your face, like a concealer, but you don't actually have it, and it stays like the whole day without actually putting on makeup. For me, it was like, this is my makeup. Like, I feel as if though sunscreen is my makeup. If you just super duper blend it, that's it. Like, it just like popping like regular makeup, it works. Anyway, whatever. What is this? My acne is of course still fading right now, but just look at my glow, look at my face, you guys. Never mind the acne is gone, but I've got hyperpigmentation that is fading, right? But when it comes to my actual skin, the texture of it, just look at that. Like, there is a glow, there is a pop out here that just frankly I could never achieve without sunscreen. And look over here, look at this glow, just look at this shine just in this region. Guys, it's like I've put on like foundation. I don't know if you know. Okay, let me okay. If I don't speak, my silence detector might not pick up, but I just want to be quiet or close my mouth. Never mind the hyperpigmentation, because that's gonna fade in due season. I look like I've put on foundation. or concealer because of white cast sunscreen. It did something. I don't know, you guys. Maybe it's this one in particular. It's called Continuous Spray Sunscreen. Yeah, ultra weight. Frankly, I don't even know what the brand is. And yeah, that's what it looks like. Collagen. I can't tell you what's the brand because it doesn't say. Continuous Spray Sunscreen. There is no. It's Fruit of the Wokali. Fruit of the Wokali. It is SPF 60, right? SPF 60. Fruit of the Wokali. Yeah, that's what the sunscreen has done for me. I am loving what it's doing. It's giving me a makeup, no makeup look. And right now as I speak to you guys, you cannot claim, you cannot say that I look ghostly. You proper can't say that without actually being a liar. I bought it for $60. Go Chinatown, but I know that this Fruit of Okali stuff, they do sell some of it on Take A Lot. So if you can't make it to Chinatown, whatever, this is the one. And I'm scared that I'm not gonna find it again because at Chinatown sometimes they stock certain stuff and then they don't. But this should last me like several months. I'm absolutely like beside myself with adoration. I just want to make sure that I've got the right lighting. Yeah, man. I just wish my life was not like this. I wish I could set my lighting conditions in a particular what do you call this thing, in a particular setting so they don't go brighter or whatever when I move, but you know, it is what it is. But look how bright I am under my eyes. But for that I attribute to Omnigold. It is kojic acid with vitamin C, so it's got brightening properties. But when you are taking care of your skin and then you've got this going down for yourself as well, it'll make you love sunscreen. You will be absolutely beside yourself with adoration. You guys know that I am still peeling. So, and however, my peeling is blending in. So every so often, like this here, there are two skin tones. Ultimately, I'm gonna catch up. But like what? Look at that. What? Yeah, blender, spender, blender. Yeah, but it was supposed to leave me with a white cast that was unfortunate. It was supposed to make me end up looking like a no-brainer. However, it worked out for my good. It's time to break my fast, Yazi, but let me just do this part and then break it in the center there, over there, type thing. Yeah, no, guys. Well, this is a point I'm trying to make over here. You be trying to make people look dead, like out your dead with something that you basically have just kind of subjugated them to the tyranny of, and then it works out for their good. Unfortunately for me, I could not go and take that sunscreen back. I could not go and buy another one. I had to use it, so I settled. However, whatever it is that was available to me at my disposal did this. Try to make me dead with a white cast, all ghostly on the floor. But the Lord worked it all out for my good. It's been a long time coming, but a change is clearly gonna come. I look like I'm wearing makeup, you guys. In makeup, lime katweni, and yet, lime pilweni. You thoroughly think that God is not gonna care to raise Lazarus from the dead. You imagine that the Lord God Almighty is going to leave Lazarus dead, since Lazarus is basically dead for a season. Lazarus is out. Lazarus has been knocked out for a season. And according to this world's ways of thinking, when Lazarus dies, Lazarus stays dead. It is agreed that it is a miracle when somebody comes back from the dead. And I serve the God of Lazarus who raises things from the dead. He brings back a people to life. I lost everything. I lost friends. I don't have responsible, neither reliable family. Like Lazarus, I'm as good as in the pit I'm as good as in the tomb. I am as good as in the ground. And yet, I will live. I am going to live to tell the story. I keep getting attacked by depression, sorrow, macabre, melancholy. Along the lines of, Karabo, you will never ever come up for air again. So just finish yourself off. And nothing makes me feel good. Nothing encourages me. Everything just makes me feel like, Yazini, it's over. Kuphelile. I'm not going anywhere. There'll never be recompense. I will, like proper, I just wake up every day feeling like it's over. But by the end of that day, the Lord has given me a defibrillation. He has put some kind of stuff on my chest to bring back my heartbeat, to make me realize that I can't possibly be dead. And even if I was, like Lazarus, I will live again. I will rise again. I'm gonna get my life back. Do you understand? I keep on looking at my YouTube, all the work that I do. Like today in particular, I felt like I was listening to the videos that are called Dating Made Black Girls Domestic Slaves Before Marriage, and now witchy men think same of Christian women. A similar, yeah, something of that nature. I gave it another title when I was editing on YouTube. And as I'm listening to it, I was crying because in that video, I was speaking about my ex-boyfriend and some dude that I never ended up with that passed me up, and now today wishing he could come in to my space. And all I could do was think, why didn't you just do right by me? Why under heaven why did it cross your mind? Why was it feasible to do that to a person? Why was it okay for you to conceive such thoughts about a person? Why did you allow yourself to plan such an egregious attack on a person? How under heaven do you mess up with a woman, and when she doesn't want to get back together with you because you acted in such a way so as to deserve being left, you then decide that she will never be with anybody else, that no one will ever love her, that no one will ever look at her. You break up with a woman, and the two of you break up when she's 26 and you're 30. 26. And you say no one will ever love you from the age of 26. She's just a baby. She has barely lived. And you have determined to make her an unloved woman that is scorned and insecure and wondering why, what's wrong with me? When you make that determination, what in the world is going on in your head? When you make a determination that a woman should never be loved, that no one should take her seriously, at just the age of 26, you have basically set her up for death, guys, for suicide. God says in his word, in the Bible, that man does not, that it is not good of Adam when he was around before Eve. The Lord said that it is not good for man to be alone. Therefore, I will make a helper suitable for him. So if the Lord could identify in Adam before Adam knew there was anything wrong, he'd only ever lived with the animals. So he did not miss Eve. He did not know that there was a partner that was like him that he needed. When you don't have something, you don't suddenly need it. Do you understand? When you don't know that you need something, you won't miss it. Adam did not have Eve yet, and so he could not have possibly missed her. Or imagine that something was up, something was wrong, something was, half instead of full. But God was the one who said, I don't want him like that. I don't want him just roaming around with animals. Even though he does not know any better, I don't want him to not have fellowship with somebody like him. So God put him to sleep and made Eve. And then when he woke up, that's when he finally said, In other words, he had an aha moment. It clicked on him. He was like, this at last is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. In other words, okay, I've been hanging out with zebra, I've been hanging out with lions, I've been hanging out with orangutans, but nothing compares to this fellowship between me and this human individual in front of me, this woman. I will call her woman, she's Eve, mother of all. Found out that he was lonely because God gave him partnership. He found out he was lonely because God gave him partnership, but before then he would not have missed it. It would have just been life, like business as usual. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Lord was compassionate enough on Adam to make him recognize that, to ultimately wake up only once he has been provided an Eve. So how evil do you have to be when you take Eve away from Adam after Adam has known Eve? How evil do you have to be on that day? The Lord discovers. No, well, the Lord does not discover anything. He's God. He knows everything. Right? But he said that it is not good for man to be alone. So I will create basically a partner for Adam, a helper suitable. All right? That is what the Lord God Almighty did. But once Eve was around, it would have been an act of cruelty on the part of anybody to take the fellowship that Adam and Eve had away. It would have been the act of absolute cruelty, because now you're taking away something that he will miss, now that it's gone. Before you have a child, for instance, you don't miss them, that girl or that boy. But once that baby has been born, never mind born, sometimes even just conceived, a baby in your stomach, if you lose it, there are tears that flow down your eyes. There is devastation. There is a tragedy that has occurred. There is loss that is felt, because life was created that you were anticipating to spend time with or to continue spending time with, and then it was suddenly cut short. You had bonded with it, you had fellowship with it. In the case of a baby that has already been born and has lived for a couple of years, you then also got to spend time with it outside of the womb, creating, that bond. And when it gets severed, the devastation is exquisite. It's alarming. So the death of Eve would have been a devastating affair to Adam, an absolutely devastating affair to Adam. However, absent of Eve having been created from his rib, he would never have felt a sense of severity of loss, an absence of a presence. He was made to develop a connection with another human being, because God saw that it is not good for man to be alone, and so created Eve. So when then you take away from man, when you take away from God's woman child, when you take away from God's child parents, you induce a devastation that every partner in this equation would never have felt, if at all they'd never known such fellowship. So on that day, you are just a treacherous human being. A treacherous human being. When you take people from people, when you endure them through a severity of loneliness, just to expand your own selfish ambition, whatever that might be. When out of your own greed, you make a decision to capitalize on the fact that God himself saw that it is not good for man to be alone, and then created Eve4Adam, and then you decide to reverse that which God has done. You are the devil on that day. You are the very antithesis of God. You are the opposite of who he is. You are destructive, just like your father the devil. And just like your father the devil, you deserve death, because you bring tragedy into the lives of people who have gotten accustomed to comforts that God has given them. When you endure a person loneliness at the level that I am enduring through it right now, you are the devil. And so my ex-boyfriend is the devil. He went and grabbed a 26-year-old single woman with no children and said, no one will ever love you. After I loved him, after he was my fake Adam, I spent time. I knew what it was like to have romance. I knew what it was like to be with somebody with whom we share, commonalities and future interests. And this guy was like, no one ever again will come into your life that you will try to reestablish that particular bond. That's the uncomfortable thing and the sad thing. Recreational dating. We are supposed to wait for God to give us husbands and wives. But unfortunately, we date so many people beforehand. And that, I believe, also causes this epidemic of uptakati everywhere, where everybody's busy bewitching everybody to make sure that you never love anyone else. What the heck? Like, God himself saw that there was something wrong with that and created Eve4Adam. And then there are human beings on the earth that go out of their way. 1 minute. There are people who go out of their way to block marriages. They go out of their way to make sure that their exes never come out alright, or to create a loneliness, albeit being with other people, making sure that they never really find what it is that they're looking for. They never really get discovered by people with whom they're truly compatible, just setting a person up for failure. My ex-boyfriend did that to me. A lot of my ex-boyfriends. A lot. Like, just making a determination that a person is going to be lonely, and the same men went on right ahead to go and marry other women. So how then does the Lord such people? How does God deal with them? Since I'm looking like a dead Lazarus, wherein lies my justice? Where am I going to get my recompense and their comeuppance? How does the Lord deal with people who take away from other people fellowship, who take from other people using witchcraft, love, romance? What does God do with men who take Eve from Adam and Adam from Eve? What does God do with people who sever his plan, human proliferation? You are robbed of your desire as a woman with a very strong maternal instinct to be a mother. When you're robbed of your desire to get married as a man or a woman, when you are robbed of your desire to basically have a big fat chunky legacy, proliferating love on earth with other human beings that are part of your circle, when people are deliberately taking joy away from you and then they put you in solitary confinement because they can't stomach the prospect of somebody else loving you, given that they failed abysmally at it. They failed abysmally at it. I have never left a single boyfriend. Do you understand? Because I stopped falling in love with them. Because I stopped loving them. There's not a single guy I ever left because I did not like them anymore. I always walked out because I was being mistreated. Because I was not being loved as I desired. I basically moved on to see if I can't have somebody truly say of me when he finally meets me, this at last is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Somebody recognize the similarities I have with him, and so therefore make a decision to make out of me an honest woman. I moved on because I was not being loved. So if you failed so violently to love me, why are you trying to make sure that no one else ever can? Just because you are an abysmal failure at what you were supposed to do means that you need to go to the drawing board and build yourself up as a man, so that you can do a better thing next time, instead of making sure that ex-girlfriend yako cannot ever find utando. 12 years yonke. Since that bugger, I've been single for 12 years, a decade point two, because he said, no one is ever gonna love you. The Lord handed him over to his reprobate mind, because there's no way that I'm actually under that spell, because I belong to Jesus. But he certainly, definitely, and entirely made sure that my ex-boyfriend, everybody would know, that he decided that ukarabo akazothandwa. Go obvious. 100% devastatingly sure that everybody would know a perfectly viable, beautiful woman that was fertile, absolutely marriable, a lovely girl, a wonderful woman. You took a wonderful woman and said, I'm gonna shoot down every potential Adam that could ever come in the way. Because while God might say that it is not good for man to be alone, I don't care. Because I understand that it is my strategy as a devil worshipper to make sure that she's alone. Loneliness is the work of the devil, don't you see? Ensuring loneliness. And sometimes ensuring it even in a relationship where a woman has a man, she has a husband, or a man has a wife, but that person is withholding affection. In the black community, it's a whole problem, where men pass us so much shade, it's like reverse psychology. So we don't feel so self-important. They deliberately go out of their way to make sure that we don't feel loved. They go out of their way with girlfriends and wives to make them feel like you're not that great, it's not that deep, relax, blom. Withholding affection, acting cool, pretending you're not in love. Yeah, it's a whole strategy in the black community. Just go and ask any random man on the internet with a YouTube channel about what is the advice that he would give to men when he meets a woman. One of the first things he will tell you is that don't let her know how truly you feel about her. Don't let her know. So when you withhold affection, when you withhold your appreciation for the presence of somebody in your life, you are doing the work of the devil. You are the antithesis of God. You are the very opposite of God, who has said it is not good for man to be alone. And how much worse then is that solitude when you've got a partner in your house, but he's not giving you the love you need. He is deliberately going out of his way to not toot your horn because he doesn't want you knowing just how appreciated you are. Watch then when that woman grabs her bags and moves out, how this fool will bewitch this whole Johannesburg. This fool will bewitch this whole South Africa just to make sure that it never loves that woman. That he failed violently. He failed abysmally to love that woman. And then he tells all of Johannesburg on a microphone on a mountaintop, Ningatandu Karab. Don't love Karab. Whatever you do, pass her up. If you start talking with her, make sure somewhere along the way that you pull back. Make her feel worthless, like she's nothing. It's Hiriani, that modus operandi. Do you understand? Operandi. That is a perverted modus operandi coming from a man that is doing everything in his power to make sure that the woman that he failed abysmally is not loved by someone else. That is the work of the devil. That is a man that worships the devil. He is listening to the devil. And there is nothing else that is inspiring him but the devil. He is a puppet on a string. And he has decided to do the work of Satan by inducing so much solitude, isolation, and loneliness in the life of a woman that loved him, kept him company, gave him companionship. And then after he has drained her, juiced her dry, and she got exhausted of the fact that he was not loving sufficiently, when she then left, he was like, you will show nobody else that compassion, and nobody else, not compassion, but companionship. And nobody else will show you that companionship either. Madoda, this thing that you do to women, making sure that when they leave, you put a leash on them called, dry. It's a desert. It's going to be dry. Nobody else is going to love you. You take some of the most beautiful girls in your communities, and you make them unloved women. You make them look like nobody has ever wanted them. You try to subdue what you call their stupid ego by causing them to ungashelwa anymore. Like, how are you gonna be so violently beautiful and have no brother trying to holler at you? That's what the heck is going on with me. How are you gonna be so beautiful and have no man try to pursue you? How's that gonna be even a thing? How is it even observable unto normality that anybody would think ukuthi mina ngisheleki? How does anybody even believe that? How is anyone convinced that I am pass-upable? How are you gonna go and grab women in your ecosystem that were once upon a time so sought after that every man was queuing outside of their lives just to petition for their cause in her life? And then gundlula 12 years yonke angatholi ngithi even one marriage proposal. How in the world is the most beautiful girl in the class in matric not wanted all the way up until she turns freaking 40? Are you serious? Usirasi. However, the last relationship that was solid and ongoing, it was with you. Oh, I know, that's what you look like now. You look like Ikundwa and you look like a rat. You look like a witch. You look like a witch. Only look at, in the black community, the epidemic of singlehood in women that are so beautiful that you don't know why in the world these fools have been so foolish to pass her up. Go on right ahead and let a woman turn 30, 40, 50, like proper, without a single guy trying to marry her. Endure a woman through just endless relationships, in and out, on a loop, trying to pretend as if though her personality sucks, that her character leaves a lot to be desired, that something is wrong, and because can take some ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago. Omuvimbe ngemiti, and the woman can't come up for air. She's a prisoner and she does not know. She just thinks she's unlucky in love, whatever in the world that means. When she was once upon a time the most beautiful girl in her crew of friends, except her. Everybody's out to having children with their husbands, but she's busy popping babies for baby daddies and not husbands. Just look at Tembisiet. Look at Dinewa Danke. Look at these women in the entertainment industry that are older, that were like the flames of their day, who are today still struggling to meet Mr. Right. It's rubbish. I don't care how much you can say, Uguti, men are intimidated by independent women, or whatever it is that you claim is the thing that's keeping these women single. No, it's not that. Men are not so archaic so as to refuse to let a woman make her own money. That's not it. It's some rodent from back in the day that has decided ukuthi aguna munye umuntu ozothanda ukarap. Like, how does Tembisi get out of relationship Letepo Mabone or whatever that lasted like a couple of years, and after that in Jeffela she's been failing in love? How's that even a thing? Utepo just freaking looks culpable. Is that basic? Tepo looks like he did something to Tembi, because that woman was supposed to get married in her 20s, early 30s, latest early 30s. God, but she stays single through and through, and ever since Tepo Lebona or Mabona, I forgot his surname, Utembi has been single, or at least not reliably in a relationship. Hambanyo Ndijela. My ex's little sister also had a problem of that nature. There was some ex-boyfriend that she dated that she was very in love with. They broke up. After him, everything fell apart for her. It was observable. During the time when I was dating my ex, she was spazzing over some dude at the end of high school, beginning of like out of high school. And after that relationship, this chick kept making one mistake after the other. Her beauty was out of this world. I use his little sister because he would not have wanted that to be done to her. And yes, some other bugger just like him went wayotagata younger sister yakhe ukuthi angatholi uthando kahle, to not properly be in love, to not be the kind of woman that walks down the aisle to a man and her first pregnancy is inside a wedding, is inside a marriage, to make a woman just feel unlucky in love, and by the time you settle, by the time you marry, lenjale ayikufaneli kisebotho fela se nobody asitlhaloganyang. You end up married to isibotho, like grabbing beautiful girls and marrying them off to the botho. I nearly married isibotho in America, as beautiful as I am. With all of these stats in my favor, because you decided to age me, making sure gutang tolutando kokana nakinyetse seboko nyana fela se ratang lawyer se tubileng matekwani se nang basadi ba itubagalo. Oh, that's been in and out of jail. That's the man that I was going to end up married to. Se boto se lesa haisal lenyadisa basadi di boto lankudra menaces, making sure that no man ever does better after when now mo. Only go and look at some of the most beautiful women in the entertainment industry that have never been married, and just go back in time and look at when was the last relationship that was solid that they were in, and you will find the freaking culprit. You will find the culprit. It is usually the last guy that she was in a 4 or 5 year relationship with. After him, everything was just downhill from there for the poor chick. Never mind the entertainment industry. Look in your own lives. Look in your own lives. When was the last time you were ever truly and desperately in love? In a relationship with a guy that was lingering, it was lasting. It took, what is this? It took a lot for you guys to break up. It was expected of you that you were going to end up married. and then the relationship ended. And after that guy, relationships last 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year tops. And even then the guys don't propose marriage. But you are unlucky in love. The same guy you dated for a year after him. Next thing, after 4 months of meeting the next girlfriend, he's marrying her. What's wrong with me? You cause a woman to be so insecure. Causing women to feel like, goodness, there's nothing to write home about Ngami. Because why in the world never mind my ex, but why does every guy just pass me up? And the sad thing about these women is they can tell that there's something wrong. And they visit Amasangoma. Sorry for you, girl. They go to the Sangoma. What's wrong? Well, who's done this to me? Sangomas are not omniscient. They're also not omnipresent. If at all this guy has put a cloaking spell on his witchcraft, not even a Sangoma is going to be able to find out ukuthi ugenzen. Sangoma haitlo ex-boyfriend because they are very careful in doing this witchcraft, given that they know in the black community that people, whenever they endure troubles, blockages in the future, in anything at all that they want, they go to the Sangoma on some what's going on, who has put a spell on me, what's happening, and this Sangoma will read into a dumb bones and be told by the devil dumb understanding that is not really truly understanding. And you will think, Njefela, you are unlucky in love. The next guy you meet, you accept his proposal because he proposed to you. Given that you think, Sangoma and you end up married to Isboto, that ain't got jack in comparison to your ex-boyfriend. Ain't got jack. Just does not compare to your ex. Mara, you think and you end up divorced anyway after 3 years. So the thing that the Sangoma fixed is that somebody's not proposing to you. Ultimately, you get proposed to, but by Isiboto. I have a cousin as well. Last boyfriend she was with a couple of years, some baby daddy that mistreated her so badly that he didn't even want to give her a proper wedding. Who in the world was the last guy that you were with solidly with? One more, no more. What's up, man? And he turned you into a witch. Like we are dollar easily 4 years in a relationship with a guy. After that, nothing works, really? Or you end up married to some sport or some baby daddy of 3. Some dude on any sense. Sangomas aren't gonna fix this issue. God, Jesus, is the only way out. He's the one that breaks chains. And the sad thing about these Sangomas as well is they can't even identify that your ex did it to you. They can't find it. They work for the devil. The devil is not omniscient. He's not omnipresent. He does not know the truth. He is a deceiver, a liar. He can at most be a psychic, but not a prophet. So therefore you waste time by going to Amasangoma. You need to go to God. And the Lord also keep your ex yakho ngebhunga namatswape and everything else. Wonke umuntu uzobona ukuthi le ndlela iyathakatha. He will give you justice. Utlakufa mona that you deserve. But you gotta go to the Lord. So in the next part, I'm gonna explain to you guys how it is that the Lord and how he will then deal with you if you give your life over to him. If you enable him to chart your course. So you don't end up like Tembisi at the end, Danke, giving a baby to some man that don't nobody know ngubani grandshap. Just cause your biological clock is ticking. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. You just want to have a baby for Masishanje. And so you just end up falling pregnant even though you wanted to have a baby with a husband. A couple of them actually grandshap no batabana. And you waited. These women waited. They waited a very long time to get married. And they never got married. And so they ended up popping babies out of wedlock. With men we don't even know. It's not confirmed. They waited. But then, things fell through the cracks and they refused to let their wombs just rot. And so they just had children. Because for them it was like, okay, fine, man, it's not good for men to be alone. So since I can't be with Adam, let me at least have Cain and Abel. Let me at least have some babies so they can keep me company. So I can have somebody masenkukile manje ukutazonginakekela. Because I can have family, I want something nyana. And so they have babies, they have kids. They raise sons, they raise daughters. And that's all they can do. Karanga, that being your destiny when you were the most beautiful girl. Papa, in your community, outside of your house, trying to get your hand. Like no man's business. And now all of a sudden good try. You haven't even turned 40. Good try. You haven't even turned 35. Good try. You haven't even turned 30. Mina, I hadn't even turned 30. Good try. When he spazzed over me out of a crew of like 10 or 12 girls on a date. I met him at dinner with girlfriends. He came with a friend of his. And out of 10 to 12 girls having dinner together, he spazzed over me. He chose me out of 12 women. And yet here it is that strangely, all these years down the line, one that sees what he saw in me instead of 12 other girls. Obvious. And not just him. It was not just him, goodness. My first boyfriend. Not first boyfriend. My first love. Witchcraft. Wahamba. That's just the thing about them. They go and they grab wives. They go and they get married. They go and they find some other women out there to make honest. They go and they put babies in stomachs of women. And then they leave barren and destitute. Their exes, another one, slicker. Bonang. ever since him, has just had such a freaking hard time. Ransacked by AKA. Ever since then, it's been downhill from Slicker. That was a strong, firm relationship that Bonang was in for years. Next thing was Asokola. Got called a whore, not banj or whatever. All different kinds of things. Mara, hey, this stuff just so miraculously happens to happen just after Slicker and her break up. And then Slicker goes and marries some colored chick and puts a whole bunch of babies in her stomach. So Bonang, you're not gonna get married. Bonang still to this day is still single. Why is nobody putting a ring on that woman's finger? She is one of the most wanted women in the country. She's the most beautiful. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that, hot. We are food now. She salivated after. There's little boys with posters of her in their bedrooms. And that woman is not getting married. All she is just this beautiful woman that fans are salivating over. But no honest man is actually rocking up to propose marriage. All she can meet are jerks, like AKA. All she can meet are jerks that will break her heart. All she can meet are jerks that will never make an honest woman out of her, and so make her look like a whore. Whoa, but like when did that start happening? After Slicker. Like Papa, it's obvious. I have a Slicker in my life. I have got a Tepo, Mabona or Lebona or whatever in my life. You know, my ex-boyfriends that got to juice a woman, and after them they were like, I get girl. So Grandshop at this point, what devil? They're nothing but little random pitchfork holding animals that have made sure Umfazo Muslenje is going to remain in a jail cell until she's so old that no longer is anybody going to even want to pursue her. Like, really and truly, these guys gotta be knocked out like a domino. It is an epidemic, and it is largely afflicting Abafazi. I've got cousins like this. I've got former friends like this, where after one particular relationship, it's all hell that breaks loose. It's downhill from there. It's clear who it is. It's obvious. But no, because this Sangoma is malfunctional. She's twitching and she's glitching. She's got an electric short circuit. Akakwazi nokubona emathambweni wakhe ukuthi le boyfriend yakho yakudala yiyo eyenza this thing. Good clear that Bonang needs deliverance from freaking Slicker. Is that basic? It's clear that Tembi needs deliverance from Tepo. It is clear that Dino Duncan needs deliverance from some dude in her past. These women need deliverance from the spells cast by these stupid men. And you will find that as soon as the Lord delivers them, all of a sudden they are getting married to Adams that will say, this at last is bone of my bone, flesh and of my flesh. Men of which refused to love these women when they were with them. Bahanne, 9-9, Bahanne. They were like, I'm going to pull stunts, I'm going to give you reverse psychology, that's what's good. Labafazi bati, okay, you know what, it's okay, since you don't want to love me. And after they got out, these boys were so embittered, because that's what they were, boys, not men. And they decided to hold hostage Abafazi in prison cells. They now like Davy Jones, proper, telling a woman, will you serve with tentacles? They have lost the loves of their lives. And so now they've become monsters. Like Davy Jones, you have become a monster. And all of their girlfriends are like Calypso. Go and watch Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest will show you just what happens to these men who lose their great loves. They become monsters. They become like devils at sea that are busy stealing people's souls. And they also incarcerate the love of their life, making sure no other man will love her, making like therefore Satan, the very antithesis of God. The Lord says it is not good for men to be alone, and these guys are like, okay, so since that's what God has to say, I'm gonna do the very opposite of it. I am going to endure a woman through solitary confinement, that even though and even if I am sense, if at all she wants to hold on to her guns and not settle, single at 40. Let's move to the next part.